So hello everyone and welcome to our Creating Breakthroughs webinar. I'm Mikey Stiller, the CEO and co-founder of Voss Coaching Co. And I am so happy to be here with you today. And if you're here, that means that you're interested in creating a breakthrough. So if that's you, go ahead and let us know in the chat. But also I want to let you know you're in the right place at the right time. There are no coincidences. There are a million places you could be and a million things you could be doing right now, but you chose to invest in yourself. So congratulations for that. And for the next 60 to 90 minutes, what I want to ask you to do is set aside all distractions, get out a pen and a piece of paper, put your phone on silent and close out all of the browsers, and really take the time to listen to what Araj is saying, because he is an absolute expert at creating breakthroughs and getting our clients results. So you are going to be in fantastic hands for the next 60 to 90 minutes, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So now I'm going to bring on my good friend, my business partner, and the best performance coach in the world. Araj, how are you?
I'm great, Mikey. How are you?
I am really good. I love doing webinars like this, and I can't wait to see the breakthroughs that are created because of it.
I have a very strong intent for everybody watching this that you're one decision away from creating a massive shift over the next 90 and 120 days for yourself. It happens so quick, but the key is you've got to have that strong intent, because nothing imprints our coding on a subconscious level more than intention. Weak intention, weak results. So I want everybody over the next 60 to 90 minutes, however long I decide to go with this, I want you to understand if one person can create a breakthrough, so can you. And let's create a massive transformation for you.
That is the perfect way to kick off today's webinar. I love that you always start it with an intention. So Arash, take it away.
All right, great. Let me share my slides and then we can get going. So let's look at the word breakthrough, because I want every one of you to create breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. We're dealing with infinite potential. What does that mean? That means we can always get better. Right now, wherever your results are, just tells us if you're crushing it, what you've been doing really well. If you've been plateauing, it's where we can get better. And we can always get better, but a breakthrough is your birthright. And I want you to ask yourself this: am I on this to gather information, or am I here to create transformation? I remember I was sitting at, I was doing an event in London a few weeks ago. And I heard a lot of feedback from this event. Anyway, they said one thing that you said that just struck me. And since then, I can't get it out of my mind, because I told everybody there's two camps of people. There's one camp that is always gathering information. And then there's the next camp who is desiring transformation. I've been doing this work. I've been studying it for 20 years. I started getting mentored 17 years ago. And when I really committed to transformation, my life changed. I had one of the best mentors in the world. He ended up becoming one of my closest friends. But I remember one day he said to me, right before we started working together, where he was mentoring me, and he said, Arash, you don't know this, you know about it. And I remember it hit me like a ton of bricks in my stomach. Like I just knew. I said, oh my gosh, he's so right. I keep reading the material, I keep going to classes, but I'm not doing the work and I'm not implementing. And I was an example of somebody who was gathering information. At that moment, I had such an emotional impact. I said, I'm going to do exactly what my mentor tells me, and I'm going to implement everything he tells me. And in 90 days, everything changed. And I'm telling you this because right now, if you're here and just gathering information, I promise you, you're not going to get much out of this. I want you to decide for yourself that you're going to make a transformative breakthrough, because your whole life is going to change. Your relationships are going to change. Your financial blueprint is going to change. Your experiences are going to change. Your confidence is going to change. And that's what you have in store for you. Now, we've got to understand this. It all comes down to a few real, honest truths. It's about, how do you want to live? Like, how do you want to live? Are you living the way you want to live? And understand if you're not, you can change that by really committing. And remember, commitment takes courage. Courage is what creates breakthroughs. It's about contribution. It's about what do you want to spend your time doing? I'm going to get into contribution later on in this, but whatever you want, I want you to burn this in your mind. Whatever you want, your give has to be a lot greater than your want. So imagine somebody says, I want to create a life of freedom. Understand from that point, that's great. You know what you want. Now your give has to be 10 times greater. You focus, success is not about you, it's about the value you create for others. That's about contribution. And it's about how we spend our days. I want you to spend your days on fire. I want you to spend them inspired. I want you to spend them enjoying your friends, your family. I want you to spend your days so fulfilled that you are so fired up about getting better and better every day. And it's all dependent on how you see yourself. If you are holding an image of poverty, it's impossible to create prosperity in your life. If you're holding an image that I can't do this, you're not going to experience the good. So I want you to change that image. And I will tell you this, there's nothing that got me to change mine quicker that what I said earlier. If one person can create a life of freedom, if one person can create transformation, so can you. Now, transformation and breakthroughs is going to be about you. Every single relationship you have in your life is a reflection of the relationship with yourself. That means your close relationships, the people you mastermind with, your financial relationship, your relationship about yourself. Everything is an exact reflection of you. Now, freedom is going to demand personal transformation. Nothing is going to define how you're going to live the rest of your life more than the choices you make. It doesn't matter how much talent we have. It's what we do with that talent. So it's about daily personal transformation. It's about daily being 1% better than we were yesterday. But it's definitely about the choices you make. Nothing is going to define me. Nothing is going to define you than by the choices you make. Now, I want you to accept this idea. Right now, wherever you stand, you could be losing as bad as I was losing when I first started getting mentored. I mean, when you talk about losing, I was a poster child for losing at that time. And I remember my mentor said to me, you can absolutely create your own economy. And he said, I want you to get so emotionally involved with this idea. He said, you're not living the way you're capable of living. He said, you have way too much potential. And he said, I want you to burn this idea in your mind. I remember, I thought this was the greatest idea I'd ever heard. I can create my own economy. Now, you got to understand, I was 150,000 in debt. I had a foreclosure sticker on my garage, and I just lost my job. Like, if you're talking to somebody who could create their own economy from that point, anybody can. But you have to radically start accepting ideas of how you want to live. Now, I want you to think about this. If it was a year from now and you created the same results you're creating right now, how would that make you feel? See, a lot of people say, I'm going to do this one day. I'm going to change my life one day. But I know for me, if I was creating the results I'm currently creating a year from now, I wasted a year. And I don't want to waste a year. I believe every single one of you are going to create transformations every 90 days. I believe everyone walking this planet is not only capable, once they live the right philosophy, they live their life by design, by the processes they're implementing every day, you're going to have quantum leap after quantum leap every 90 days. Now, you are infinite, so we have to start there. There's no end to where you could take yourself to. There's absolutely no limit. The only limit is in the ideas we've accepted and internalized. But I want you to open your heart, because it takes an open heart. Everything is spiritual. You are spiritual. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And most people have it backwards. And what I want you to understand is whatever you really want, it is yours. Now, no one is going to build your excellence. No one is going to build your destiny but you. Do you need the right mentorship? Of course you do, because everybody needs a mentor because we all have blind spots. And great mentors give you great direction. That's what's going to create your transformation. But I want you right now to have the courage to bet on yourself. Now, if you're going to live up to your potential, you have to bet on yourself, and there's nobody better to bet on than you. Now, in the next 90 days, I believe if you're really ready for transformation, that's what you're going to do. Now, I can't do that for you. I can tell you how to do it. I can show you how to do it. I can show you step by step on what to do and how to do, but you've got to be willing to go all in. You've got to be willing to let your past be your greatest ally so you can learn from your mistakes. You can learn from your successes of the past. But I want you to build an amazing future. I want you to build a transformation. Now think about this. What would it mean to you over the next 90 days if you created a massive transformation? I know it would give you a lot more freedom. I know it'd give you a lot more self-respect. I know you really feel good about what you're doing. And that's just the start. Your next 90 days after that, now you're going to know what to do. You're going to do it again. And then you're going to do it again. You stack every 90 days and you're going to create a world-class life. But in order to do this, it's going to require you to create new habits. And it's going to require you to letting go of your past life. Now let's look at some things that we have to eliminate. I want you to make a list of the activities you do that have no juice or energy. That is a reflection of what we need to get rid of. I will tell you, I've been around the best and I've created elite results. I'm living a life of freedom now, not by accident, but by design, because I was a great student. But what I do know is if we don't have juice in the activities we're doing, we've got to let them go. But what I also do know is the best in the world are the best in the world because they're great quitters. They quit at what doesn't serve them. Now, I want you to think of everything that drains your energy. That is a good idea of what to let go of. I want you to think of the relationships that don't work that you're holding on to. These are great examples of what to let go of. Think about the habits that are sabotaging your behaviors. Is it starting and stopping? Let go of it. Is it procrastination? Let go of it. Is it negotiating with yourself? Let go of it. I want you to really take the time to write down, what am I going to eliminate? See, I want you to focus on the important few, not the trivial many. Less is more. When you become excellent and practice the law of 100 with a few things, that's how you're going to create transformation. Now, it's going to require an irrevocable, committed decision. That means I am all in at my future self. I am all in. I want you to, the rest of this webinar where we're together, I want you to think of where you already are after your massive transformation and breakthroughs. What would it feel like? But to make an irrevocable, committed decision, that means that you're willing to change. I say this all the time. Many people are setting small goals for themselves. They want a life of freedom, but they don't want to change. And we have to have a game plan of not just wanting to change, but what is our game plan for changing? When anybody works with me, I set a game plan for them every 14 days. Why do I do that? Because I know I can have them committed for 14 days. Then I stack wins. What do wins create? Confidence. What do confidence create? Our results. But we cannot be 90% in and 10% out. Now, I didn't make up the rules, but I follow them. An irrevocable decision is I am going to do whatever it takes, and it's going to take whatever it takes. Now, for each of you, it's going to be a little different level of whatever it takes, but I promise you, the rewards are far greater than the price you have to pay. Now, 90 days of definiteness, would that be worth it for you to activate excellence in your life, for you to activate a massive 10x jump in your life. And you're probably thinking, how can I do a 10x jump in 90 days? It's magical what happens. The jump is always in our emotional state before we see it in our results. But I want you just for a moment, imagine I went all in every day for 90 days. I shut off and I eliminated the fear of missing out. And I got really locked in what that would do for you and your family. Now, none of this works without betting on you. I will tell you this, the moment I bet on myself is when my life changed. You start walking in to a world that is so foreign to the old you. But this is when the magic happens. And I will tell you this, and I want you to accept this idea that there's no one better to bet on than you. I want you to bet on you. When my life changed is when I bet on me. I remember, I've shared this story if you've been following me many times, but it was so clear to me. I was in Portofino in Italy, and my wife was getting ready, and I was sitting out on the deck, and I was looking over out at the ocean, and this thought came to me. They said, what was it that really changed the game for you? And it was so clear to me, the answer that came in. He said, the moment your life changed was the moment you bet on yourself. The moment I bet on myself, I got out of my comfort zone. The moment I became courageous is when my life changed. My results didn't change, but my life changed that day and my philosophy changed. The direction of my life completely changed. And that's what I want you to do. And understand, without courage, none of this is possible. Every significant breakthrough is the result of a courageous deviation from your old way of thinking. Now, a lot of people think freedom means comfort. Freedom does not mean comfort. We always have to be courageous. The universe responds to our deepest commitments, hence why I always teach irrevocable committed decisions. However, no matter what level you get to, you're going to still have to be courageous. Freedom is not about lack of courage. Freedom is about confidence. Freedom is about living and enjoying the experiences you want. Now, I want you to think about your life. If I said there was one experience that you would like to experience, what would come on the screen of your mind? Would that be, I'd like to have freedom of time? I'd like to never worry about money again? I'd like to have this amazing relationship. I'd like to get in the best physical shape of my life. All of this is going to demand you to deviate from your past self and tap in to your future self. And your future self is so much more courageous than you are right now. My future self, I'm no different. I keep tapping into that future self. And that's where the change happens. But we have to understand success comes down to a few simple choices. We have to know exactly what we want. So I want to ask you this right now. Do you know exactly what you want? That's number one. Number two, you have to determine the price you have to pay. What is that price? Does that mean I have to hire a mentor? Does that mean I have to learn what processes that my goal is going to demand, that my life is going to demand? Does that mean I have to learn a skill set? I have to be in a mastermind group with higher level thinkers? And then number three is you just have to ask, are you willing to pay the price? I promise you, your goal, transformation, breakthroughs, financial freedom, living a world-class life is going to determine you to pay a price. But the price is pennies compared to the reward. Now, what if I said to everybody, I say this to myself all the time, is you're not thinking big enough. Now, what if I said that to you? Would you agree with that? Would you disagree with that? See, everything is our thinking is a prequel to everything we see in our life. I want you to look at what you have in your life right now. Understand that that is in harmony with your thinking. Now, in order to create success, whatever you want, you have to want success as badly as you want to breathe. Your want has to be through the roof. You know, there's a great fable by Socrates. I can't tell this story enough because there's nothing I found more accurate. And this gentleman comes to his house and says, Socrates, I want to be as great of a philosopher as you are. And Socrates says, sure, come to the back to my lake house. So he takes him in the back. He says, kneel down. And he grabs him by the neck and he holds him underwater and he's holding him. And the fable goes that the gentleman's kicking. And Socrates brings his head out and he says, what were you thinking? He says, all I wanted to do was breathe more than anything else. And then Socrates, the wise man that he was, he said, if you want to be as great of a philosopher as me, you have to want it as badly as you want to breathe. See, when I was losing, I was so sick and tired of losing. I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's when I changed because I was inspirationally dissatisfied and I wanted to create a life of freedom. And I didn't know if I could do it. I didn't know that I couldn't do it, but I knew other people were doing it. So I put myself on the hip of somebody who showed me exactly how to do it. Now, I would tell you if it was all roses, it was not. I had to overcome my old self. But what always drove me was my dissatisfaction of mediocrity. I became so inspirationally dissatisfied that got me to change because I wanted the other end of that life. And I believe financial freedom is one of the best goals somebody could create because what it makes of them. That's what it made of me. It made me a completely different person. And that's why your want, I want you to build it so strong. And I don't want you to think for a second you can't do it because I know you could do it because everything works by exact law. And if we follow the law, we're going to win. If you put good out, you're going to win. If you build your skill set, you're going to win. But if you play it safe, if you don't make decisions, if you don't get the right mentorship, you don't get the right direction, you're going to keep creating the same thing over and over again. Now, I want you to look at these. These are lines of frequency. And take an honest look at your present results right now and understand you're getting them by exact law. You can only attract what you're in harmony with. Now, we can change it is the beautiful part. So if somebody is really sitting there, and if I only hit one of you today, it's worth it doing this for me because I have dedicated the rest of my life until the day I die, I'm going to be coaching. I am a coach and I'm an elite level performance coach because I show people how to bring out their juice, how to bring out their potential, but I get them to change what always has been to what can be. And I want you to do the same thing. Now, every day, one of our biggest obstacles in every one of our faces is present results. What do you think why so many people are in anxiety? Because they're letting their present results control them. Their present results becomes their identity. It is not your identity. It's just faulty thinking. But understand, I want you, every morning when you wake up, you make an intent. I am not letting my present results or outside circumstances to control me today. Now, what's another thing that stops people? Now, this is at the top of the list. I've been studying this for 17 years. And this is the number one sabotager that gets people to live a very mediocre life. They are always protecting themselves from who they want to be. They said, I want to do this, but I'm going to wait till this happens. I'm going to wait till the kids go to school. I want you to already live there right now. When you see what you want, you live in the spirit of it. But I want you to make a definite, irrevocable, committed decision that you're going to let go. You're going to be a master at letting go, and you're going to stop protecting yourself from who you want to be. Now, so what am I asking you to? I'm asking you to let go of the resistance. I watch people every year. I mentor thousands and thousands of people. In the beginning of when I mentor them, the first thing I do after finding out what they want, I have to identify where their resistance is and teach them how to let it go. We have to become masters at letting go. When you let go, that's when the magic happens. When you let go, you're detached to the outcome. When you let go, you're willing to be brutally honest with yourself because that's where the transformation happens. I want you to think about you right now. Forget about me, but I want you to go get quiet with yourself and say, where is my greatest resistance? A lot of people will tell me it's the money. And I always tell them money's an effect, it's not the cause. So your resistance is your relationship with the money. Your resistance is your skill set. Your resistance is settling. And I watch way too many people create lesser goals and they settle for lesser when they can become a lot more. Now, what is a reason people protect themselves? If you're a watcher in your life, you're protecting yourself. Big sabotager. A watcher, there are always spectators in the stands watching others play the game of life, and they envy other people's lives. A watcher is always watching somebody else get the money, the recognitions, and the rewards. Now, I want you to ask yourself, am I a watcher or am I a player? A watcher, they do just enough to get their needs met, but they never work diligently and practice the law of 100 to get really great at what they're doing to create the life that they want. A watcher, at the first sign of difficulty, challenge, or disappointment, they discard their dreams and blame others. They say, no, that's for somebody else. I've tried it once. I better protect myself. A watcher, when they fail, they'll never forget it. They say, I'm never going to put myself in that situation. Instead of having accurate thinking and saying, where did I lose when I failed? Where did I miss? Where was I not emotionally involved in it? Was I playing not to lose? See, you've got to first identify so you know where you're protecting yourself. They're never playing the game of life actively, and they're excuse makers. A watcher is a victim, not a leader. Now, look at a player. A player, they have practiced until they're the best they can be. Like there's somebody that every one of you admires, that you look up to, that you love their confidence, you love their fearless attitude. And you know it because they're players. They have practiced diligently their craft until they're the best they can be. Now, the difference between a player and a watcher and a winner and a loser, the loser practices their craft until they get it right. A winner practices their craft until they can't get it wrong. That's the difference. Now, they reap the rewards of their efforts. They know if they keep putting good out, they keep failing, they're going to continue winning because of the persistence. And they use their power to make things happen. They know there's nothing they have greater inside of them than their higher faculties, where they use their mind for them rather than against them. And they know there's a person inside of them that could do 10 times better. So they always reach for that well of power inside of them. They tap into that person inside of them that knows you could do 10 times more. And that's what the player is doing. They take risks and they get the rewards. Now, I want you to ask yourself, am I a watcher or am I a player? If you're a watcher, you're protecting yourself. But imagine, what if I learned how to be a player? What if I build the identity and the confidence of a player? What do you think would happen in your life? Now, everything is a result of our thinking. So you can never get results beyond your current level of thinking. If I look at my results, it tells me where my thinking has been. So when we understand that, the currency for attracting what we want into our lives is our thoughts. Now, I want to go deep with this with you. Now, I want you to look, this is you. And there's three parts of you. You have a conscious mind, you have a subconscious mind, and you have a body. But in order to understand us and create a massive breakthrough, we have to understand how all three parts of our mind work. Now, our conscious mind is our manual mind. It's our thinking mind. It's our educated mind. And it's where our intellect resides. Now, what I want you to do is get your conscious mind working for your subconscious mind. So how do you do that? You think about your want, your goal. What do I want more than anything else? And now I think, feel, and act on a conscious level from that person. That's how your conscious mind works for your subconscious mind. Now, your subconscious mind is your emotional mind. And your conscious mind, you could choose any thought you want. I want you to choose big ideas. I want you to see yourself big because you are in control of your destiny by how you think. So, how you use your conscious mind is going to be expressed in your subconscious mind, which is going to show your results. Now, your conscious mind, you can accept or reject any idea. Most people are doing neither consciously. They're not accepting or rejecting. So every idea goes inside of them. So they're letting the outside world dictate their life. They're giving all their power away. I want you to be a master at accepting and rejecting ideas. Make a decision this very second that I am going to only accept ideas from my goal and from my future self. And any idea that is not in harmony with that, I'm going to reject it. If you do this for 30 days, you're going to build so much discipline in your thinking. Now, your conscious mind, you can originate any idea, originate an amazing idea. I mean, an amazing. Later, I'm going to show you several success stories of people who we've taken from inspirationally dissatisfied to freedom. Now, I taught them this. And every single person, when I first work with them, I tell them that I want you to get a PhD in accepting and rejecting ideas. And once they start operating my processes, they're living their life by design and they're creating their strength by being superior to their former self. Now, your subconscious mind must accept. So if you're not rejecting or accepting, your subconscious mind has no ability to think. It just accepts it, and that's what you're going to see in your results. And it cannot reject. It has no ability to think. We've got to burn that in your mind. A lot of people ask me this question. They say, how can I get my subconscious to believe it? And I said, well, it's what you do on a conscious level and what you emotionalize. And when you start understanding that you are in control of your destiny, the game changes. In your subconscious mind, it cannot determine between what's real or what's imagined. I want you every night before you go to sleep. Your results could be very mediocre. You could be really struggling. But before you go to sleep, the last 5 minutes, I want you to tell yourself what you've accomplished. What you're doing is not lying to yourself. You're training your subconscious mind of how you're going to live in the future. Now, everything I told you on success starts with what do you want? I want you to pick one want over the next 90 days. This want is what do you really want more than any other want? And that's what we're going to work on together. What I really want more than anything else. That's the only thing I want you seeing yourself as. Now, how do we get that want inside of us? We have to radically accept an idea. I told you it's about accepting and rejecting. Now we're going to mix intent with this, with decision. We say, I am so happy and grateful now that in the next 90 days, I have quadrupled my sales. I have released 20 pounds. Whatever it is, I want you to radically accept it and never worry about the how and never worry about the circumstances. If you come work with me, I'm going to put the right processes and show you exactly what's possible in 90 days. Now, when you radically accept, you're not thinking, oh, I wonder if it's going to happen. You have this absolute faith in seeing what you want. When you radically accept, it's a done deal. I remember one day I had accomplished something pretty big for me at that time. And my mentor was congratulating me. And I said to him, I wish I would do it every day. He said, well, why don't you? And I said, I guess I don't know. He said, this isn't rocket science, Arash. He said, all you have to do is accept the idea. I said, say that one more time. He said, all you have to do is accept the idea. He said, you're making it a lot harder for yourself. And from that moment, I just would accept every idea. Anything I wanted, I accepted it. It was done. Because I was a great student. He said, all you have to do is accept the idea. And I just accepted it. Now I started focusing on the next action I had to take, what mindset I had to build. When you radically accept an idea, you change the game. But in order to do this, you've got to make your want a magnificent obsession. When you make it a magnificent obsession, it's always on your mind. But what happens is you activate your cognitive map. What does that mean? It means you activate your understanding. Your brain is here to work for you, but it only works based on what you give your attention to. And right now, I want your attention. The order you're giving to your brain so it goes and works on it right away is what you want more than anything else in the world. Now, I'm going to show you how to build a magnificent obsession right now. Now, your want starts in your subconscious mind. And your want then gives a signal from your subconscious mind to your conscious mind. This is what I want. I want to turn my annual income into my monthly income. Our job now is to accept this idea. Whatever your want is, your job is to radically accept the idea. How do you accept it? You accept it with your imagination. Now it's in the wanting state. Now, I don't want it to stay in the wanting state. I want to turn it into the knowing state, which is a desire. Now, most people, they'll hold their want for an hour, a day, and give up. Now, that used to be me, so I could speak on it with great experience when I was losing. I would give up, I'd let the results control me. That was a losing effort. But when I changed, I never went back to that losing formula. What I want you to do is now turn your want over back to your subconscious. How do you do it? I'll give you some tools right now. You want to auto-suggest it. What does that mean? That's a suggestion from yourself to yourself, but you do it with emotion. Remember, your subconscious mind is your emotional mind. Anything that does not have emotion, your gatekeeper says to the subconscious, do you want this idea? And it says, no, give it back to the conscious mind. So how do you do it? You say, I am so happy and grateful now that I have turned my annual income into my monthly income, and I absolutely love it. And you do it over and over and over again with repetition. The more you repeat it, it turns into a desire, the knowing state. Once it's a desire, it alters your vibration and it dictates what you attract. And all the conditions, circumstances, and environment changes. Now, what's another way we could get our want and turn it over to our subconscious mind? Through mental rehearsal. You get in a very relaxed state. And if you've never followed my mental rehearsal, it's on my YouTube. And Mike, I think we could give them a link to that. Okay. And you practice it minimum 3 times a day. You get very relaxed. And then before you start visualizing your want, what I want you to do is have a clear intent. I clearly intend to turn my annual income into my monthly income. That gives your mind direction. And then you build this picture. The combination of auto-suggestion with mental rehearsal is going to inundate your subconscious conditioning, and you're going to see your results change. But you're going to know when it's a desire because you're never worried about the how. All of a sudden, your thinking is different. The people you attract in your life's different. The decisions you're willing to make are much different. Now, that is the creation process. We have to turn our want back over to the subconscious mind. It starts in the subconscious, and our job is to accept it and turn it back over. Then we have to practice installing the new belief. And in the beginning, you have to deconstruct the old you. You got to stop making choices from that person. Then in the middle, it gets very messy. You're sometimes coming from the old you, sometimes the new you. And you keep repeating it until your dominant thinking is from the new you. And that's how your results are going to change. Now, everything you want is on its own frequency. Our job is to become one with it. That's why I said, how do we become one with it? We get in the spirit of what we want. All day long, we're thinking of our magnificent obsession. We're taking actions we've never taken. We're taking actions out of our comfort zone. And every day, you're stacking win after win after win of feeding your future self. And that's how you're going to start becoming one with it. But remember, the greatest sabotage of creating what you want is coming from a place of neediness. I need this. I need this. You have to come from radical acceptance. I already have this. You're going to be rewarded greatly when you do. Focusing all your thinking on what is great sabotager, letting your present results control you. and focusing on the undesirable situation. What if down? What if this happened? I want you to think of what if up. I want you to think, I'm already experienced this. Think about the dinner you're going to have with the closest people in your life, celebrating this massive breakthrough that you're going to achieve over the next 90 days and beyond. Now, our questions shape our identity. Our identity creates our results, but our questions shape our behaviors. So we've got to ask really empowering questions. The first one is always the first rule of success. You have to know what you want. What do you really want more than anything else? The second question is, what experiences would I like to have? The reason I love this question is you start falling in love with the possibilities. You're turning the impossible into certainty. And then you say, what changes would I like to make? Because in order to achieve something far greater, we have to change. But we have to have a game plan for change. Like, this is what I think I'm brilliant at when I work with clients. I get to identify what they want and the changes they have to make, and I give them a game plan of exactly how to implement those changes. Most people set a goal without putting a game plan of what they have to change. And they're going to create failure after failure by doing that, and disappointment. And then you have to ask yourself, why are your goals so important to you? The person's why always wins. If your why not is stronger than your goal, your why not is going to win. That's what you have experienced with starting and stopping. I mean, that's what I experienced. And that's why starting and stopping happens. Why are your goals important to you? I want you to have such a big why. Remember, the why always wins. And then this is the most important question. What kind of person do I need to become to achieve all that I want? Excellence is your birthright. Greatness is inside of you. I can't give you greatness. You already emanate it. We've just got to open our heart to connect to it. Most people are failing because they have a closed heart, not because they're not capable. They're not even going after what they really want. They're just going after based on what the masses are doing. Now, when people attempt to transform their income, the biggest mistake is they prioritize income first. What did I tell you? I said, now you know what your want is. Your give has to be much greater than the want. So now we focus on, how can I increase my value, which will be the result of increased income. Income, all it is an effect of the good we're putting out. So how can you increase your value? You could increase it through leveraging my mindset. You could increase it through identifying the right processes. You can increase it by looking at the skill sets and the beliefs that you want to install over the next 90 days. Do you realize just one skill set and one belief will create a massive transformation? Stop focusing on income and focus on value. Now, the beautiful part is, when you 10x your value obsession, this is absolutely essential to create increased income. Value is always the worth you create for others. This is provided by your ideas, products, beliefs, skill sets, and services you provide. See, when you make yourself so congruent with your goal, now you put all your energy on, where can I get better? How can I serve more people? How can I get better at my craft? And that's what's going to create your income by default. Do you ever wonder why people who thrive during the most uncertain times? It's because they focus on value. When you focus on value, you bring absolute certainty to your income. With certainty in your income creation process, you will be immune to whatever's going on in the outside world. I want you to know what you want. Now, you think, feel, and act from that want. You do your daily disciplines, you create the right processes, and then now you focus on, where can I add value? How can I get better at my craft? Now, in order to do this and turn your want into reality, and to be willing to create the value that's going to create a massive life of freedom, you have to understand your paradigms are controlling your life right now. Your mindset is how you see the world. And there's two things you have to know to create great wealth. You have to know where you are and where you're going. Now, I will tell you this is why mentorship is so important. This one slide. I want you to think about this. You know what you want. You know where you are. That's easy. All you have to do is open your eyes, and you know where you're going. But it's so simple and so obvious. Why are so many people stuck? It's right here because instead of seeing their magnificent obsession, instead of interrogating their action step, am I taking actions from my future self? All they do is stay where they are. That's all they see. Why? Because the paradigm keeps them stuck. Your paradigm wants to keep you comfortable, but there is no such thing as freedom and comfort. You have to be courageous and bust through your comfort zone. Now, why I said mentorship is so important, this just one slide, because the mentor always is creating processes from your goal. The goal always determines the process. The mentor's always seeing you where you want to be and holding the image of it until you're there, and they're guiding you. That's what I do. I guide you on exactly what to do from the goal, not where you are. See, this is what is essential to create a massive shift. But how do you change a paradigm? Repetition. Repetition is the mother of all learning. We have to fall in love with repetition, but repetition, your old you fights you so strong against it. Why would I listen to this again? Why would I read the same chapter in a book over and over again? Why would I keep doing the same actions? See, it's the repetition over and over and over again that creates mastery. Your program is not hard to change, but it takes deliberate practice. It takes awareness, and it takes falling in love with your want. Your paradigms literally put a blinder on how you see the world. I want you to look at every single person on this call. Every one of you is seeing the world much different. Every one of you is listening to me much different. Now, the paradigm has to change if you're going to change the result. This is a black and white deal. And we have to understand this. It's not a matter of how hard you work or how many hours you put in. If the program does not change, ultimately the results will remain the same from one year to the next. See, it's not about working 15 hours. It's about working smarter, not harder. It's about changing your awareness. And when you change your program, you're going to see your outside world reshape itself. But when programs stay in control and you don't build the discipline to accept and reject, you don't build the right processes, nothing changes. Nothing will change until you do that. Now, let me show you this because this is the number one reason people don't change their results. Now, this is you. You have a positive side of your personality and a negative side of your personality. You have a power that flows in and through you within a second. And you have a choice on which one are you taking, a positive or negative side. Now, let's say for the last 6 months, you've had a financial goal and you haven't achieved it. You said, I really want to increase my income from 100,000 a year to 500,000. And you say, Arash, I've been watching you. I have not made the change yet. And it's not because I don't have a goal. This is the reason. Are you sending out a double binding message? Are you changing your processes? If your processes are the same that's creating the same results, then you have got to change them. If I keep doing what I did yesterday, today, I'm not going to get better. And my job is to be in harmony with my goal. And now, how do I do that? Number one, if you're sending out a double binding message, you're accepting the outside, a negative result, and you're in harmony with a poverty consciousness. Now, what is the negative side of our personality? Ignorance. What does ignorance create? It creates worry, doubt, and fear. So what happens if you're sending out a double binding message, you're not thinking, feeling, and acting from your goal, you are emanating worry, doubt, and fear in your subconscious level, which then puts a disempowering idea in your body. And guess what you're going to get? You're literally infecting yourself with what you don't want. Even for the people who think, I've been studying this, It's not about what you study, it's about what you implement. The implementation, our job is to think, feel, and act from our goal. This is what has to happen for you to create a massive breakthrough. But the person who's creating a double binding messages and catches it, they said, I can tell I have no juice. My energy is really low. I'm in a double binding message. They can change it. They say, you know what? I am choosing back in every day is day one. I'm a beginner and I'm going to operate with the right processes. Like Arash just told me, two massive processes that'll change my belief with auto suggestion and mental rehearsal. You make a decision, you say, now I am going to emanate, I'm going to think, feel, and act. My magnificent obsession is coming from that $500,000 goal. And everything I do, I'm thinking from that person. Now, through the repetition of doing it over and over and over again, now you're altering your vibration. Instead of infecting yourself with what you don't want, you are empowering yourself with what you do want. You're so free. You let go so completely. And that's how you're going to attract the results. Now, I will tell you, to be aware of a double binding message, all you have to do is follow your energy. All you have to do is understand if you're in your comfort zone, you're in a double binding message. What did I say earlier? We're dealing with the infinite. We can always get better. But in order to achieve a quantum leap, you have to think, feel, and act from a much greater level of deliberateness, a much higher intent. But when you do what I'm suggesting, you're going to automatically build an enormous picture of yourself. And we will never outperform our identity. That's our picture of ourselves. That's the most important picture that we have. Now, I want you to build a new model of your future self. Now, I teach future self all the time, and a lot of people don't do the deep work to really allow themselves to make the connection with their future self. Now, why do I say your future self? Because your future is shaping your identity this present moment. So if you're coming from your past self or your present self, you are just doing the same thing over and over again. Now, commitment comes from your future self. And your future self, what you're doing right now, is what you're going to create in the future. But the present is meaningless unless you're connected to the future. And we have to understand it is the future that dictates what decisions you make in the present. So right now, if you're always saying, I'm going to do this one day, that's what you're going to get. You're going to keep getting the same thing. Or if you say, listen, I am all in. I am going to create a massive jump. And I hope that's every single one of you when you're listening to me. But when you do that, now all of a sudden, every decision you make is going to automatically start coming from your future self. But how do you make that connection? You journal every morning for 15 minutes and you write a letter to your future self for 30 days. Because why do you write a letter? It's creating a deeper connection. Imagine if whoever you're closest with, from day one when you met them, you didn't have as close of a connection as day 30, then 6 months, then a year. We have to make that deep connection with our future self. Our future self, when you make it, write it out. I'm so happy and grateful now that we are creating massive success together. My life changed when I stopped letting the outside control me and I connected to you. You know, I want you to see yourself high-fiving, hugging your future self. When you're writing that letter, I want you to talk about the characteristics that you built from your future self. And you do it every day for 15 minutes. Your connection is going to be so much deeper from day 1 to day 7 to day 28, and then to day 30. And you're going to start seeing every decision you make, every action you take is automatically going to come from your future self. Now, most people, they don't understand that their future self is totally a different person than they are today. They think they're the same. They think what I'm doing right now, it's just my cards. This is what I'm going to always have. It's totally untrue. Your future self, when you start tapping into it and coming from it, your whole world is about to change. Your future self is a lot more courageous. It's a lot wiser. It's a lot stronger identity. you want to start really taking what I'm telling you seriously. Now, your future drives your present action. Your future drives your present thoughts. Now, I only have an hour, hour and 15, hour and a half with you. When I work with my clients, we go through future self work literally weeks. That's how important it is until they can master it. Now, in order for you to become what you want, you must overcome the old you. Every time you're tapping into the old you, you're going to create the same results. And the side effect is a lot of discomfort. If you're feeling fear, that's a great sign. I want you to know, do the thing you fear, everything will change. Everything will completely change. You know, I was telling a group today I was coaching, I saw uh, something on my feed from the Bible. It says, in the Bible, there's 365 different times the word fear comes up. And in every one of those passages, it says, you have nothing to fear. Don't fear anything. Act on your fear. And, you know, the Bible will teach this philosophy so well. But we've got to embrace fear and do the thing we fear. But when we do this and we're coming from our future self, guess what? Your confidence increases. Now, I want to talk about confidence because I want everybody to look at their results. Your results right now is a reflection of your confidence. I want you to imagine in the next 90 days, you 10x your confidence. Your results will 10x by default. See, we've got to start understanding confidence. Confidence doesn't mean you're not scared. I hope you are scared. Being scared is a really good thing. You know, whenever I hear somebody say they're scared, I'm like, oh, you're in for a big jump right now. You're in the process of a quantum leap. When I hear the people who say, no, I'm not scared, I know they're not going after what they're capable of. But if all you did was increase your confidence, your results will change literally overnight. But what is confidence? Confidence is about definiteness, even with your lack of when you lack certainty. It's, I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm willing to fail, but I'm going to keep pivoting forward. But confidence is about letting go. Confidence is not about overthinking. Overthinking, now we're letting our manual mind, and we use 2 to 4% of our power instead of using the genius inside of us, which is our subconscious mind, that creates 96 to 98%. So right now, if you're not letting go, understand you're using a very limited amount of your potential. What else is confidence? Confidence is about those defining choices you make from your future self. Nothing is going to define us more than the choices we make. Confidence is about deliberate practice, practicing our new skill set, going to a mentor and saying, listen, I am all in. I've never done it before, but I want you to show me exactly what to do. And that's why the people who work with me in our company, they create confidence literally every 30 days. There's a dramatic shift in confidence. But what creates the greatest level of confidence is behaving out of your comfort zone. You literally behave your way into a new identity. It is much easier behaving your way into a new identity than it is thinking your way into a new identity. Confidence is going to the unknown. I've never done it before. I have never experienced this before, but I'm going all in. That's what faith is. Faith is going to determine your confidence. Faith is seeing what you want, believing in the impossible. What's the impossible? Your subconscious mind. And going and doing things you've never done before. And you're going to experience what the masses call impossible, that you're going to call quantum leap after quantum leap after quantum leap. But when you have confidence, you've accepted the idea radically before you even started. You've won well before you've started. And that's what's going to create a massive breakthrough for you. Now, I want to finish this with goals because we can't do this without goals. But I don't want you to just have any goals. I want you to have world-class goals. When you're going after a goal that's 1x or 2x, there's no inspiration, there's no juice. You just go back to your past self and your present self and you say, I'm just going to work a lot harder. And you keep procrastinating. The riches you receive will be an exact proportion to the definiteness of your vision. I know what I want, the fixity of your purpose. You turn the want into a goal. The steadiness of your faith, I see only what I want, and I already am experiencing it in my mind. and the depth of your gratitude. Gratitude is the vibration of abundance. Now, with goals, we're all in. We put all our chips in. We are all in every day. Now, you may have a day, you miss a day, you say, I'm never missing 2 days. But you see yourself, you're in the spirit of what you want. You are not spending any time on a poverty consciousness. Now, it is impossible to exceed the standards you have for yourself. To achieve a goal is all about standards. Whatever you say yes to is what your minimum standard is. Your standard sets your baseline to what you attract. Your standard sets the direction of what you're seeing in the world. And the standard you hold of yourself is your most important core value. But remember, with goals, no one does anything without a why. Now, you guys are all here for a reason, or else you wouldn't even be joining us. You have a why. I know you want transformation, and I know you're going to create transformation. I can't wait to hear your success stories. But now we've got to turn your goal into a love story. When you're in love with anything, it's always on your mind. That's the magnificent obsession I was talking about. I want your goal to be a love story. That's why we do the repetition of affirming to ourselves and mentally rehearsing what we want. When you turn your goal into a love story, you're going to, instead of asking the most disempowering question, how am I going to do it? You ask, what do I want? What do I have to become? Who can I leverage? Who can I learn from? Who do I have to be? Now, the what and the who are the most empowering questions regarding the goal achievement process. But I want you to make your goal so big, you believe it's impossible. It is easier to achieve quantum leap goals than incremental goals. Why? Because quantum leap goals give us juice. But the minute you start falling in love with your quantum leap, now your mind starts seeing it. You're starting to make the impossible possible. And all you have to do is start playing with the ideas and start doing the math. Like, I will teach you how to make the impossible into the ridiculous where you're certain of it. But 2xing your goal is just about hard work. Is that what you want? Do you want something that gives you no juice, that does not transform you? See, 2xing your goal provides too many paths from your current results. All your thinking is based on your past thinking. Now, 10xing your goals, there's only a limited number of strategies that'll work. That's why you want to be around big thinkers. You want to get mentored by the right people who've already shown the results because they've performed it. See, surround yourself with the right mastermind. Get proximity with the right people that are going the direction you want to go. Now, when you make the goal impossible, you stop working from your present knowledge and assumptions. What does that mean? You stop working based on the past you and based on the present you. You're going to be open to new ideas and paths to getting to your big goal. See, you've been at a time in your life where you're like, oh, this is the idea. You just have this aha. That's because you went to your future self. Now, I want to teach you how to always come from your future self. But the goal achievement process comes down to 3 main rules. Number 1, I have to fuse with it. I become one with it. I'm thinking, feeling, and acting from it. I pick one identity-based behavior, one belief that is I'm going to work on for 90 days. And then the next 90 days, I'm going to pick another belief and skill set. And all you have to do is 4 identity-based behaviors a year, massive quantum leaps. And then you're process driven. You're implementing the right processes, and you're taking 3 to 6 goal achieving activities. These are not busy work. These are really moving the needle. These are the most important ideas every day. And that's going to achieve your goals effortlessly. But none of this happens without action. I want you to understand action is your best friend. And I want you to have inspired action with swagger. That's that confidence. I know that I know that I know. I'm willing to fail in order to succeed. I'll give you a rule that I have discovered and implemented over the last 17 years. You have to be willing to fail at your future self, then succeed at your current self. When you do this, you change the game for yourself. And action is the fundamental key to all success. It's not just about information, it's about transformation. And it's about using the knowledge and unleashing the talent. You're never going to learn more than the doing. Emerson says, do the thing will give you power. He doesn't say, read the thing will give you power. When you get into the doing, you're going to learn so much about what you're going to course correct, where you're going to get better. And that's where your results change. But this is key. If we don't develop the ability to take action, nothing changes. We have to understand the time to act is when the idea is burning inside of you and the emotion is strong. Like today's a great day for you to act. What is that one idea you can act on today? I want you to act on that right away. Like if you're sitting there and you want to massively quantum leap, I want you to call us and we will help you. But that's an idea. Do it now as a brain tattoo. I was sharing this story earlier this week. 17 years ago was when I got mentored. And when I got mentored, I was losing badly, as I've said earlier. There was one thing that I changed that changed my life immediately, literally within weeks. I started doing everything right away when I used to procrastinate. Well, my mentor said, you have to do it now as a brain tattoo. He said, I learned that from W. Clement Stone. So from that moment on, I committed. I said, I'm just going to surrender to his mentorship, and anything he tells me to do, I'm going to do. So he told me to do everything now, and that's what I did. And I'll tell you, if you do it now, within a second, you're going to change your life. It will change your life. But we have to put action into disciplined activity. Discipline is the ability to accept and reject from our future self. Either you're going to let your mind discipline you, or you're going to discipline your mind. You have to put action into a disciplined activity. Every day, I do my 3 to 6 most important goal achieving activities. And every time you get into action, it activates your GPS, the next action. Every action impacts the next action, then a greater action and a greater action. And what you're doing is you're practicing your standard in action, you're mixing it with discipline, and you're creating world-class results. And the best part of this is the universe always rewards the bold. It always rewards the courageous. And you will see immediate results by acting on your idea. And the great part is you're going to implement this strategy for the rest of your life because it feels so good with self-respect. It feels so good winning. But how do you constantly push yourself to your limits? You don't do it alone. You've got to invest in the right people in your inner circle. I would love to be in your inner circle. Now, if you found value in this and you're ready to transform, I encourage you to let me set you up to win and get into my mentorship program. Mentorship with Voss sets you up for success. Like my mentor, I always think about it when I'm teaching this. I remember one day he said, Arash, you have to do it by yourself, but you could never do it alone. And I've literally spent 7 figures in mentorship over the last 17 years. And I'm not exaggerating, and I'll spend it the rest of my life. And I will tell you, if you want to transform, we have to develop your foundation first, because everything is foundation. What does that mean? That's your identity, that's your philosophy and standard, and that's your vision. And then we've got to set up the exact processes that are going to create your results by default. A lot of people are obsessed with their results. I always tell them, be obsessed with your processes. Your processes create your results by default. Now, I will ask you this question again. If you were creating the same results a year from now, how would that feel? I will show you how to speed up your results significantly. Now, I want to share a couple success stories so you don't have to take my word for it. You could see other people we've worked with. Daniel Kelly is a wonderful client. I work with him very closely, but it started 9 months ago. And this guy does exactly what I tell him to do. But he said the biggest gain I've got from working with Arash is I have way more confidence in myself and my ability to achieve my goals. Joining Voss was one of the best decisions I have made. I feel valued and know they care about my success. And I have the accountability of a great mentor that has impacted my progress. I've gone over and above what I expected to achieve. The key to getting tremendous results in any area of your life is having a great mentor. And I truly believe Voss is the best mentor you can have. Now, I work so closely with our clients. I get to create an intimate relationship with them. I want to know you. Now, I'll give you another one. Stephanie has created absolutely amazing results. She lives in Sedona, Arizona. She said, one of my goals was to be published in Lux magazine. And in 7 months of working with Arash, I've been able to accomplish my goal. Through applying Arash's processes and staying focused on my vision, I have achieved seven-figure deals, earned prestigious placements at the largest mall in Scottsdale, and I'm on my way to collaborating with the industry giants. I have learned how to better leverage myself and my business. I have achieved greater control over my thoughts and my attitude, and I've been able to live better life because of it. Now, I'm going to give you one more. This is Mike Eden. Mike sent us an amazing testimonial a couple weeks ago, and I asked him if I could share it with other clients, and he said yes. He says, I have followed Bob Proctor and his content for almost 10 years. This is where I became familiar with Arash. Up until April 24th, I made zero progress in my quest to achieve my goals. After joining a 5-day event, Pivot Forward with Arash, I booked a call with Monica and signed up for Quantum Leap coaching that same day. I made the irrevocable decision that the time for the quantum leap is now. I have seen more results in 3 months than I did in 10 years. What Voss Coaching Co. teaches works. 3 months into the program, I have already attracted a promotional opportunity in my current career, in addition to attracting a business opportunity that I started in June. Within that business, look how amazing this is. I am one of 30 participants who was selected from a pool of over 500 to kickstart a program that has high potential in boosting my online business. I am so happy with the results and awareness that I've received so far from Voss Coaching Co. that I joined their elite peak performers program, and I'm so looking forward to the quantum leaps that I'm about to experience. Now, I'm only sharing this for you so you see real life stories. Now, on our website, we have, I don't even know how many we have, but we have created thousands of success stories. But like, I just want you to understand you are our next success story. But to create transformation, it's going to demand courage. Now, the beautiful part is I'm going to do the hard work for you because I'm going to show you exactly what to do. You don't have to do this on your own. Now, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to turn this over to Mikey. I really enjoyed it. These are 3 of the key philosophies to create a massive breakthrough. Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you so much. And thanks to all of you. I can see by looking at the chat that you are fired up. And I love what Araj said at the end right there. And I just want to reiterate it. He said, I'm going to do the heavy lifting for you. He spent almost 20 years finding the perfect processes to create breakthroughs and to transform your life. So don't go and spend 20 years of your time. Get our mentorship so that you can cut that time down to 90 days, 6 months, and get well on the way to enjoying the results instead of grinding through. So I'm going to play a quick video for you. And this is just a video of even more success stories so you can hear it directly from our clients' mouths. Thank you all so much for joining us today. It has been an absolute privilege sharing the last almost 90 minutes with you. Here's that video, and we'll see you soon.
My biggest win working with Voss Coaching Co. and Arash has just been the accountability and the connection. Like, literally, I know Arash cares. I've worked with other coaches before, and I feel like the dots are really connecting this time. Something when I sit with Arash and I'm on these calls with these other like-minded people, I'm doing the work. I'm repeating my affirmations. I'm doing all the things that Arash is suggesting, and it's been amazing. I really wanted to leverage my time, and since working with Voss Coaching Co., I've hired another interior designer. I'm getting much better at leadership. My team is flowing pretty well, and I've created really big goals for myself. One of my goals was to be published in Lux magazine. I found out last week that I am going to be published in Lux magazine, and this was literally from September when I was here at my first Voss Coaching Co. event to today. 7 months, I was able to achieve my goal, one of them, and it's just so exciting. I would say if you want to live a life of impact and create big things and you want to be happy and fulfilled, you should definitely, no question, hire Voss Coaching. It has changed my life, and I know it will change yours too.
So my name is Daniel Kelly, and I'm originally from the UK. A little bit about my background. So after university, I went into investment banking, and I worked for places like Goldman Sachs and Barclays, and I really didn't like it. And I wanted more of a life of freedom and living on my own terms. So I started my own coaching business, and I've been doing it for the last 6 or 7 years. And I specialize in mostly health and fitness and mindset as well. I would say that I've been studying personal development for more than 10 years. But in hindsight, when I got to know Arash, I realized I hadn't been studying it. And so I've only been studying it seriously for the past 2 years and really understanding these teachings that Arash shares. The biggest gain that I've gotten, I think, is honestly having more energy, because I don't beat myself up, I don't shame myself, and I have way more confidence in myself and my ability to achieve my goals. I think that joining Voss was one of the best decisions I made. Last year when I joined, I've been with Voss for over 6 months now, 7 months. And one of the reasons why I love working with Voss so much is because I really feel valued, and they care about my success. I've been in many different coaching programs in the past, and I felt like I was a bit of a number sometimes. And with Voss, it's not just Arash who's invested in my success, but other people like Mikey, Monica, and whatever they can do, they will help you succeed. And I think that having the accountability of a great coach and mentor, but not only the best, in my opinion, Arash is one of the best there is, has been tremendous in both in my progress towards my goals, but for me, mainly, it's becoming better as a coach and better at selling and selling my ideas to people. So in that regard, I've gone over and above what I expected to achieve. You think that you can know things and you've heard things before, but the fact is, if you're not applying them in your life and you're seeing the results, you don't really understand them. And the key to getting tremendous results in any area of your life is having a great mentor. And I truly believe that Voss is the best mentor that you can have. So don't sit on the fence and don't hold back, because if you invest in Voss, you won't be disappointed. You'll love the results that you get. So what I love about Arash is that he lives and breathes everything that he teaches. He's the product of the product, and he really embodies and really cares about his students' success. So I think that's one of the reasons why people are so loyal and want to continue working with Voss, because Arash is so invested in everyone's success, and he lives and breathes what he preaches.
It's really changed my life working with him and Voss Coaching Co. If someone is on the fence and they're not sure whether or not they want to do this, 100% you have to do this. Trust the process, trust yourself, know that you have everything in you, but Voss Coaching Co. is going to help it come out. It's going to help you up-level your self-image, your belief in yourself, the level of service that you are going to be able to give to your clients. It's going to change everything in your life. No matter what business you are in, it's going to make a difference. It's 100% yes. No matter what it is that you want to accomplish in your life, you will be able to accomplish it working with Voss Coaching Co. and Arash.
Always been exposed to coaches, mentors, information. A lot of this material that we talk about was presented to me at a young age, but I didn't know how to receive it. Didn't really mean anything to me. Those mentors and coaches, although they were trying to help me, they didn't resonate with me. And then I discovered Arash, Monica, and this information, and it all changed. It was exactly what I was looking for. Just be open to receiving mentors and good people in your life that you trust and have your best interests in mind.
You work with Arash, he really has conviction and really knows what he's doing. When you work with him, you just feel his confidence, and that kind of confidence gets imbued into you. That allows you to go out and then kind of populate it into the people in your life. It's actually been beneficial to me, because I've been able to have a much more close relationship with Arash. You know, he really cares about the people he works with. He really wants them to succeed. And so he's not looking to get, he's looking to give. A difference between him and a lot of other people in this space, I would say.
I happened to be the first day seated at the front of the room, and Arash called on me to ask me what was it that I really wanted. And I had this dialogue that I was going to spill out. But in that moment, for him just asking that question, he broke something in me that allowed me to strip of who I thought I was and become vulnerable in that moment, and just be so authentic in myself that I really had not been before. So he made me see really who I was and be truthful with myself.
Working with Voss Coaching Co. and Arash, the experience has been great. It's been good to have a mentor whose conditioning and whose perspective I can really trust and go to with problems that I'm having, knowing I'm getting a very, very good solution for them. And working with Arash, you know, he's just a good mentor that you can trust, who's not gonna bullshit you, who's gonna give you the real answer, even when it's the thing that you don't wanna hear.
Keep stretching yourself. So if you achieve one goal, that's not the end of it, then there's another one coming. There's always more to come. I'm more confident now in myself and in my capabilities from all that Arash has been teaching me over the years. I know I'm going to more places after this.
We had some things happen and I had to make some big decisions. The coaching program gave me the confidence in myself, to believe in myself, to make those difficult decisions, and helped me set those standards to where I knew how to make those decisions and why I would make those decisions. I have now transitioned out of that company and I'm pursuing the life that I always dreamed of. It was one of the most difficult things I've ever done, transitioning out of a partnership and a long-term business relationship. Arash and Voss Coaching gave me the confidence and the tools to take that next step. And it's been exciting, it's been great. I feel like I'm just getting started.
My biggest gain working with Voss Coaching is really my self-confidence and my self-image. It was really important for me to understand what is a self-image, because I had all the success in the world, but I didn't know that it was not a self-image. So I really built my self-image and feel now so strong, so powerful in what I do. I'm now a coach and I absolutely love what I do.